What's up, peace and light, and welcome to the Sirius Cypher. We are about to get it in tonight. We got some folks that's running late, some cats that couldn't make it, and I anticipated this going down like this, and this is the whole reason why I created a Cypher, because we just never know how this is going to turn out. So today, our subject at hand is going to be all about that energy of death and rebirth. But we're going to just dive deep on this whole subject of death, because we got together last time and we started really getting into some serious building the last time we connected. And I said, we need to take this conversation and share this. And so this cipher right here is going to move a little bit differently than a lot of platforms that deliver this conscious information, because what I'm mostly interested in is how we can translate what we know to contribute to this thing that we call ascension, right? And that can happen on so many levels in so many different ways. We talking about on a mental plane, and that's our clarity and thought. Physically, like victory that's in our lives, right? Our friends, how we connect with folks, and spiritually, right? How we give back, support, and show love. So we know about how this death energy is, right? We know it's about transformation. We know it's about ending of a cycle, right? And we'll talk about that. But let's bring this all the way back to the basics, right? Because many people have left this planet. And I really want to talk a little bit about what this afterlife thing is about. But before we get started, I want to start off by giving some thanks and calling on some spirits and calling on some energies that's going to really help to support us in this discussion that we're having at this particular time. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pull out the bowl. The first things first, I got to call out my archangels. Let me get my book on now. Here. Number one, I got to call on the Archangel Michael to bring us protection and mercy and justice. I call on the Archangel Gabriel to bring a clear and intuitive channel. The Archangel Uriel for mental and emotional wellness. The Archangel Raphael for growth and healing. The Archangel Metatron, so that we are doing this work for the highest and greatest good. Assist us with that. Papa Legba, open the door. Open the door. Open the door.
Roxanne.
Open the door. For the highest and greatest good, Pops.
Triangle.
And so I call on the Baron Samdi.
Baron Samdi.
Mama Bridget.
Mama.
To help us with this discussion. Thank you. Thank you. The goddess Sarasvati. Lakshmi. Bak.
Lakshmi.
Oshun. Yemen-Ya. Tahuti. You guys have any energies that's coming up for you right now?
Zedekuma. Zedekuma. Zedekuma.
Zedekuma. Ashe.
Quantum Koto.
Katsukoto. Oh, yes. That came through, too. Yes. Yes.
Kobe Bryant, his daughter. Say the Tupac. Mother. These are all energies.
I call on the Lord Ganesh.
Pravati,
Bhavati coming through.
Sashet.
Sashat is coming through.
Yes, what's your name?
Akeru is coming through. And I thank the ancestors for coming up, supporting us, and blessing us in our efforts. And I thank the spirit guides coming through, supporting as they do. Thank you for supporting us. Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. And we intend to bring this information for the highest and greatest good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, spirits.
Definitely feel that energy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. That's
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
didn't want to say no names. I was just quiet. Like,
Yeah, because they're coming. They coming through. I know. And then there's so let's get it, y'all. Let's talk this because I want to back it all the way back up because this is the program that messed me up. We gonna get this. Religious systems, no shade to religious systems. Social systems, no shade to that either. But we've been taught to fear death.
mm-hmm.
Should we fear death? What?
Hell no. Hell no.
Okay, so let's just let's speak on the introduction. I will do the introduction of death. So first and foremost,
Let
one
us know
thing
who you
that
are. I'm sorry about that. I forgot to introduce you two. Please let us know who you are.
okay.
Just
I'm Anthony
you're not
Hardy,
on there. Okay.
whatever you want to call me, aka Yobani Ra.
All
Yobani Ra means able and capable.
Okay.
So it's a lot to go with this superhero, but at the end of the day, let's just break it down back to the foundation, right?
Okay.
Because the world needs a foundation. So anyway, speaking of death, since Shakisha talked about death and this whole death realm occurred to me like the last 2 weeks since you talked about it. I saw a turkey vulture and I never knew it exists. Never knew it exists. And I live in Oregon. So Oregon has a lot of trees and everything. So I thought it was a hawk. And it was like, no, it's a fucking turkey vulture. Who the fuck did you kill?
Wow.
I'm like, no, I didn't kill nothing. I'm like, no, that's an eagle. It's an eagle. And turns out it was a turkey vulture. And I'm like, what the? I thought that was bullshitting until I looked it up. And long story short, which we got enough time to really explain it, that's symbology. So if I'm doing this subconscious mind work, right? The subconscious mind, shout outs to Panic, you know what I mean? Hey, your subconscious mind works in three major ways: trauma, repetition, and symbols.
Right.
So, all my life, I was in special ed when I was in high school and all that bullshit because my subconscious mind worked through art, writing in a certain form, luckily I was stuck into writing in English, but pretty soon, like if you heard of Paul Robeson, look that up. Paul Robeson knew more than 16 languages. And I was a black man in a time where you couldn't even fucking walk down the street. And I look at that, I'm like, oh, okay. So I can compare that to my life right now because you know what? It's something in this energy right now where somebody has to create the spark. Somebody has to create something where they're not really looking at anything. They're looking at it, but they're looking at it from another lens. They're looking at it from another perspective. And it doesn't have nothing to do with being on point. It has nothing to do with being laggard. It has you being on defined time, being defined with yourself, being accurate with yourself. Cause that's the only time that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at right now. I can really say that that's where I'm at right now because everything that's happening right now, it has to deal with death. Right. You have to die off of some stuff. You have to be physically detached from everything, and that hurts so fucking much. It hurts because ain't nobody gonna see your worth in this physical world.
So
you know what I mean?
There any parallel correlation? Because I talk about like when I was asking like, should we fear death? I go back into my elementary, my Christian teaching, right? Mm-hmm. And they tell you, you know, that if you bad, you go to hell. And if you good, you go to heaven, right? And so now we're at this point where, for me, this is how my spiritual journey went. When I realized that that wasn't true, then I went ahead and I did whatever in the hell I want to do because I felt like, you know, the guy that specialized in killing wives and grandmothers, he going to hell, right? But right. I'm somewhere in the middle. What if I'm this person that maybe I'm not a religious person. Maybe I'm not a person that meditates and takes care of myself, right? But I'm this person that I walk this middle path, right? Or let's keep it real. I'm the type where I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll fight kids, midgets, old people. I don't give a shit. Everybody right. can do it if that's what needs to happen, right? And so does that make that person a person that's going to hell? And we know that this whole process of being in a lake of fire and burning is something that's not happening, but it looks almost as if in this death process, there is a reality that's called what we call hell.
Let's just say like this middle path or this reality, this so-called reality, that you picture it like a middle ground, right? So within that middle ground, you are actively working in the heaven realms and you're also actively working in the underworld. So we're playing different roles in these higher and lower realms at the very same time that we're in this middle ground. When you're aware that you can do all three, that is where the quantum comes in, right? Because your mind can now see past the bullshit and see past everything that we consider reality here. And we can look past and actually affect the underworld, and we can affect the higher realms. This is how I work. This is how certain downloads or uploads happen, right? Because we get uploads from the center of the world, of the earth, and then we get downloads from the cosmos. But we have to understand that everyone is in their own cycle. So what you consider hell would be someone can be on the same earth as you, and you could be experiencing heaven, but yet the next person will be experiencing hell.
Okay. Now, when you say we get downloads from the center of the earth, I'm sorry?
Uploads.
Uploads from the center of the earth. Where is that coming from? The center of the, what realm is that? What is that?
So that would be the world. That's like you can research all that. You know, there's a lot of research done, and I'm always encouraging people to look at me as a mirror, and what I post on my IG or things like that is for people to see a reflection or something that might capture you a little bit in order for you to do your own research, because what you posted the other day is absolutely true. I'm not here to be a savior. I'm not here to fall into that ego trap.
And can I, not to cut you off, just speaking of piggyback what you're saying, I was going to say that because the Bible says that about carrying your cross, right?
Yeah.
So we all have to carry our cross, man. Like, but we're here to be one body of this Christ energy. We all got talents of this shit, but nobody really want to be real in this fucking matrix that we live in, because it wasn't point out to be in these end times to where the point where you really, really actually know what you capable of. You know what I mean? And that's where we at now. We all are carrying our cross, and who gonna bury the fruit gonna get the real fruit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we all going through some stuff. We all gonna shine. We all doing the work. So therefore, we gonna shine. But it's gonna take some avenues. It's gonna take some mazes to go through to really get to where you really need to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's death. That's death. That's transition. People, everybody want to live. Everybody afraid to die.
Yeah.
And I said that.
Here's I'm piggybacking off of this Christ energy, right? Like, he was said to had gone to heaven to get the keys of life. So that mythology has played out over and over in different, you know, a lot of people, even Pythagoras, all these different like mythologies, Greek, Egyptian, they had to go to this lower plane in order to acquire light. So for me personally, I experienced that to a T. Like, I literally went through that as a transition that I was feeling within my transformation in real time. Right. I had the resurrection mythology played out in my life, where for me, my waking up happened through trauma. But it was also linked to Kobe's death, because I woke up 2 weeks after he died. So come to find out, him and I had a past life in Greece. So there's a reason why I'm so tied into his energy. The reason I'm wearing a shirt that simplifies him, and the reason why a candle is still burning for him and his daughter, who, matter of fact, Anthony gave me that picture. You know, so all things come together for these moments, because there's something divine that has been planned, that all we're doing is unraveling the scroll as we keep moving along.
Absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out to brother Dante, who stepped in the room.
Dante, what up, man?
We ciphering in here about death right now. And so, you know, the brothers have been breaking down some profound knowledge, and this whole thing about getting uploads from it makes a lot of sense. And here's the thing, y'all go tell me a lot of things that I haven't heard before, because even though I may have been doing this work, there's a lot of things that either that don't stick in my head or I just didn't get. These are lessons that I didn't get.
Oh, yeah.
The other part is that you guys do the work here. So you probably will bring some shit to the table that you ain't finding in a book, that you can't do an internet search on, right? These is some information. This information here is divinely inspired. So please know that if I ask you to expand or dive a little deep, or if I ain't heard of it and I ain't hip to it, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm just swallowing. I'm swallowing what you. I'm swallowing what you're bringing out here, because that's something new and it resonates for me right there. Because I do a lot of grounding meditations, and I do notice that I get a lot of information when I get into this grounding meditation where I touch the core of the earth. And when I bring those roots to the core of the earth in that meditation, I can feel the heat. But then I also come back in with a lot of insight, a lot of aha, and so you just definitely awakened a little bit of something that I wasn't making the connection on. So I do appreciate that. So
absolutely. And I'll expound a little bit more. You are a battery, you're a capacitor. So therefore you're drawing from the negative ions, which would be the earth, and you're pulling from the positive, which would be the cosmos. So just like any battery, you know, there's this fluctuating energy that's going around you like a torus field, right? So you can ground yourself. You know, I find that I need to ground myself more than I probably do, because if not, you'll find yourself hovering outside your body, like Miss Blue will say. You know, so grounding yourself is very special, but it's honestly where we get most of our information from. Sometimes we think we're getting it from the cosmos. A lot of it's coming from our inner earth. So the earth has its own being, right? It's alive. So just to give a tool, what I'll do is I'll use I'll envision myself diving into the middle of the earth, like spirit diving into the middle of the earth. This is something recent that I've done. You know, it's not something I've done for a long time, but that's how spirit keeps giving me tools. And I'm not the type to dismiss a tool. Like, I'm going to put it to the test because I want to see what it's going to do for me, right? Taste of me and see that I'm good. Is that type of metaphysics. Is like, I'm just going to try it. And Ashe to Kobe, you have to think of this like a game. So you're going to practice your little 2-foot shots, your little sinkers. Every single shot, you're going to sit there for hours and try everything. Why? Because when it comes to game time, they're not going to know which fucking move you're about to make.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, finish.
So that's how like the spirit moves within me, and how I've been honestly been given a lot, and I try to give it back to the people as much as possible.
You are
Absolutely.
I'm always giving back to the people, even when I look and I'm like, damn, like really no one will say nothing. Like I want interaction, just like you want interaction on your show. Like I want interaction, but nobody's giving it. Why? Because we're in a fucking microwave age of spirituality where people, if my comment,
you woke.
Yeah, if my thing is like too long, like nobody got time to read it. But here's the thing though, not everybody out there is teaching.
Right.
There's teachers that you know, I would say that I'm trying to give people the proof is in the pudding, right? In the thing, staying and connecting the dots. I'm not just talking out of my ass. Like,
No.
this been with me ever since I woke up. Kobe is a huge part of that.
Shit, before you woke up.
Before I woke up. Exactly. I've been doing a lot, Shakesha, like for my whole life. And that's not to say shit. There's a certain aspect, you know, that sometimes I get in my ego where it's like, when I play basketball, this little frame right here, I used to tear people up.
Okay.
Like,
hey, I want him on the team.
But balling like 6'4", dunking. I would go to parks just to scope out who the best player was so I could challenge them, and I would never lose. Why? Because there was I had that Mamba mentality before I even knew who Kobe was in this physical. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And listen, let me tell y'all, because see, the only thing, so when you started making a lot of these connections, what I know for sure is that shortly after Kobe Bryant's death, it hit everybody a little different. And like I said, I wasn't a great big basketball fan, you know, but, you know, I was definitely saddened to hear that the brother had passed away so tragically with his daughter. Shortly thereafter, the world completely changed. We have what the tarot card readers call a tower moment. And we can say that it was one of those, because that whole tower energy is about
everything had to stop.
Shit happening. When disaster happened, we get some warning signs, but we really ain't paying attention. So we've seen all of these CEOs, right, step down from their position in January and then December and shit, right? Yep. We seen that happening. We saw that they were coming up with it. We thought it was just another virus. They came, it's the Ebola, it's the Aruba virus, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying, right? I mean, it's always some shit, right? The swine flu. You know what I'm saying? All of this shit. The bird flu is out there.
Virus.
Exactly, right. And so now, you know what I'm saying? So we thought nothing of it. And then hell, I grabbed a bottle of Lysol and said, the coronavirus is on the back of the Lysol can, whatever. Ain't nobody got time for this shit. But we saw events that went down. The rainforest, which is the lungs of the planet. And then we get this disease that come and attack the lungs, right? So we see a lot of things happening on the planet. The lungs is also where, what energy does that hold? Grief.
Yeah, grief.
Grief, yep. Or anger.
Liver.
No, that's the
liver. That's the liver. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Grief from right there.
It's all one and the same though. Because it's all in your breathing.
All of these changes. And then, you know what I'm saying? This jackass laid on this man's neck, watched him die while everybody videotaped the gas face. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? And so we had a shift like nobody's business because the world completely changed. We ain't never seen no shit like this go down. This was some new. Where they shut the entire country down, the entire world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based off Beetlejuice too.
Let's talk about that. Right. Bigger picture shit that's going on there. But what we had was death of an era. And now we start noticing with all of this in the advent of the age of Aquarius, which is going, you know what I'm saying, where everybody is doing this thing I keep calling this right here, this dance we do called ascension, where we catching hell and going through changes and getting enlightened all at the same time, right? We got a lot of people that's waking up, coming online, a lot of gifts that's coming online and everything. And so we in that whole death, rebirth, and transformation period. And so I look back and I started to see when Quantum Lion had put down this whole thing with Kobe Bryant and how a lot of this thing started off with that. He was at the beginning of this cycle right now that we're going through, this death rebirth process right here.
So I'll tell you I'll tell you how I'm gonna expound, because like I really feel Kobe right now. Like there's some stuff that really wants to come through, right?
Right.
Yeah, Kobe was instrumental, to a lot of people. He touched a lot of people through the physical world of basketball. But a lot of it has to do with his alter ego, this Black Mamba, right? Because we correlate the serpent to the Kundalini rising. So we also say the triple dark of space is the Great Mother, and so he embodies both of these, right? And then we bring in Quetzalcoatl, who is also the feathered serpent. Okay. Then bring in Tupac Shakur, or Tupac Amaru Shakur, who also his name symbolizes the wise serpent. Okay. So basically what's happening right here, these are the energies that have touched me, I would say the most is Kobe and Tupac. Like the first moment I saw them, without knowing who they necessarily were. Like the first time I heard Tupac's voice,
that's off top.
like I heard him, and he like something hit me, unlike anybody else. Same thing with Kobe. When he got drafted, I didn't follow college. I didn't follow none of this, but something about that moment, if you guys could be a fly on the wall, the moment when he got drafted, you would see this Axel, like, ecstatic, happy, all that. But I
remember that shit. They drafted him straight out of high school.
Yeah, and he was drafted number 13. Okay, so let's just peek.
And that's the
come
that's
on,
the
man, get the fuck out of here, bro.
That's the rebirth card.
And Mrs. Look, he was drafted by Philadelphia.
Wow.
Oh.
So let's tie all this together, right? We're even gonna go 10 times, because one of the churches that was gonna be saved was the Church of Philadelphia. Okay. Philadelphia is the land of brotherly love. So this exudes love, like, and it was recreated in the United States, in the state of Philadelphia, which he was born in Philadelphia. Okay.
And then he was raised in where?
He was raised in Italy, neighboring to Greece, which the city in Greece was Philadelphia.
Shut the head.
Which is where they actually get the name of brotherly love. If you do all that, it goes back to Greece.
What?
Him and I
they shouldn't have put us in the game. They shouldn't have put us in the game.
And now check this out, though, because see, here's the thing. I'm looking at this whole process that we talk about death, right? And now it looks like we're going through this part where, what is that with the 42 assessors, right? Start taking a look and weighing the hearts.
Yeah.
Many individuals that's out here in the game. And so we start seeing, and I know we talked about that bullshit, unfortunately, like with Kevin Samuels and all of this other stuff. I'm not either, I don't have time for that conversation. But what they're saying is that the hearts have been weighed. We know that a lot of people have left the planet. And I'm here to tell you that I had some people that were very close to me that were affected by this whole virus, this bullshit madness that's going on out here in these streets and everything. What I have noticed is that for me, and in my experience, I went through almost like a review, a life review or something, where I got to go through, in my dream, I got to go through different instances of where I'm connecting with people and how I'm coming off and what that energy looks like and all of that. And so what they're saying is that they're weighing a lot of hearts. And I think I heard Miss Blue say something about this, where you have to have a certain vibration in order to ascend to this, what we call the fifth dimension, that world that the planet is beginning to shift into. And so with this whole, this death, this transformation process, hold up, let me make sure I got that right. In the Duat system, in the underworld system, once they go through, right? Okay, you got that book. I was just about to ask who's reading that shit. I gotta get that.
That's very funny because before you even said that, I'm channeling your time, right? My spirit, like I was channeling pages of the Duat, right?
Yes.
Because my Kobe's he's actually speaking to me through my heart in a whisper form. How to tie that into what to explain how this death thing works.
Okay. Let's get it.
So
this shit is crazy, bro. This shit is, it's phenomenal, man.
In this Dua, you see how like there's these different chambers. There's 12 chambers, right? So picture the chambers being like the clock, right? There's 12 chambers of day and 12 chambers of night. So you have this whole clock in your head, right? Where when I was reading this, all I saw was the cycles of time. So I saw certain people going around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all this stuff, right? And number 13,
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Because the number 13 means you're breaking out of the time. You're in timelessness.
You out. You out.
You're out. And this is how I operate. But the
time machine, buddy.
The black loopers. When you think of the serpents like Black Mamba, Tupac, and Quetzalcoatl, you're talking about snakes. So what do snakes do? After a certain amount of time, they shed their skin and they become renewed. So they are a symbol of rebirth. So every time you shed a skin, you're rebirthing yourself to a new cycle of this time clock. So
hold it. Pause right there. Because you are definitely on point.
Hey,
but I want you to
can I say something? Can
Who is that?
Hello.
Hey, lady, what's happening?
Woo. Hello.
That's right. That's
all it is. It ain't nothing but a gangster party. Now this what happens.
Hello. We went to Cali and back. Hello.
And it goes down and it's all good. We move right on past it.
No. Hold on. I wanted Quantum Line to back up a little bit right there, because when he said the rebirth and the shedding of the skin, I want y'all to remember, I don't know who in here was in self-invested, right? But you can go back and listen to the replay where I said, listen, I'm sorry, you might not know what that is, but there's this workshop that Miss Blue and Brother Bilal hold, and before Kobe and everything happened, I said we have to prepare ourselves because the world is about to shed its skin. And nobody knew what I was talking about, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know what I was talking about. And it wasn't until one of the priestess called me and was like, yo, go back and listen to what you said. And I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even talk. She was like, Andre, you did a whole thing on shedding the skin. And I was like, oh snap, I didn't remember. But there is a significance in shedding the skin. And not only did we shed our skin with the quote unquote pandemic, the people that will not or won't do the work are going to be leaving here under the death moon. And so you can't like just glide past that. That's why I was like, ho, bring it back.
Oh, well,
All right,
Well,
what's this
hello.
death
so
move?
now
Back that
now it's time for
Hello.
me to speak.
Hello.
If y'all ready
Oh
for
my
me to
goodness.
speak,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
so
ready. I'm going back on mute.
I was already talking about the dog days of summer, right?
Right.
So what you think else is next? Like in our cycles, like this is our ancestors. Like they already talked about the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead already came already.
Okay, so
Nah, I
hello,
mean,
hi everyone. It's Kavina here. I'm from Florida.
Okay.
The only way we're going to get the dead on the other side is if we actually do the work. There are so many dead souls sitting
so
in
wait
the
a minute. We're
magma of
doing the
Earth.
work. We're doing the work. We're doing the work. You just have to recognize it.
But no,
You
it's
cannot
not
be
about doing
distracted.
the work in like a universal term. It's about each individual. My work is different from every different
But we
priestess.
all come together though.
And that's the beautiful part about it.
It's the web.
So
Word.
you don't have to say, what are we going to do to come
No, I
together? If I'm
said I
doing my
don't have to
work,
say anything. I just said we're the web. So if
Yeah.
I'm connected, we're connected, right?
Yeah.
Am I right or am I wrong? Just let me
Absolutely.
know.
It's called a
it
collective.
depends. I'm going to say this for me.
Yeah,
I've been
I agree with
attached
that.
to certain webs and I'm not too comfortable with it. So I'm very particular on sticking
What
to.
are you
And so
comfortable with? What are you
what it
comfortable
means with what I'm comfortable with is in building with individuals in the space we're in right now, where everyone has their own individual thought, and we're not trying to convince each other our thought. Like for instance, with me, with Miss Blue and Brother Blau, I went through so many different women that had all different perspectives of life,
Right.
and they
Mhm.
all mattered. My
with?
opinion was just as important as theirs.
Mhm.
It wasn't about figuring out who was the truth. It was all the truth. And if we can sit in that moment of hearing
That's
each other's truth, we can actually build a system. Until then, it's going to be a web of chaos. It's not going to be a web of a system where we actually build and grow. Because
look.
But
so for
that's
me, yeah.
we're
So that's my
talking
caveat.
with the cycles, even in the duo, everyone's in their own cycle. I understand that. I understand and respect where everybody's at 100%, because not everybody's gonna get what I get, and I'm not gonna get what you get. You said we're here to work together. That's the beauty of it all, because just like a Christian perspective, right, of the body of Christ, like we're all have a place in this body, and we're talking about like everyone's just operating. The point is just to not get in your ego about who you are and what.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
that,
Yes.
that
Yes.
that's the beauty,
Yes.
and we have to like get past, because I see a lot of folly in how
Mm-hmm.
people direct themselves, as far as like, oh, I'm doing this, and I know
Mm-hmm.
I,
Ashe.
I know what I'm doing, but I know that a lot of the energy that's
Look.
getting to us is
Let me say
because
something,
other
man,
people
about
are.
that shit. One thing about creative energy, when it comes down to the physical manifestation of things, it's not gonna come out. It's gonna come out in chaos mode. That's one thing about us in our DNA. Like when shit, we need to get used to shit just being abnormal, being like, I don't know where the fuck that nigga came out with that shit, but I like that shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely, y'all. This is exactly what my intention is. And for all of those that came a little bit late, this is kind of the thing that we set when we first set this thing off. Because as I was saying before, where my interest primarily lies at, like we already know the teaching, and everybody has had diverse teachings. And even if we all got the same exact teaching, we go look at it differently. And this is our opportunity to bring that perspective to the table, not to tell somebody that the way they got it is wrong and we converting the numbers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To the channel.
That's right.
Right. I mean, right here, because a lot of our information, it gets channeled in. I'm interested in how we can translate what we know to contribute to this dance we call ascension. And that's going to happen on so many levels for us. And we all in different phases and different stages. And even the most ascended master that lives right here on this particular plane, if you still here, you still got work to do. And so with that, we came here to get this work, to get it in together, to give ourselves an opportunity to hear it from another perspective. Because I may send a link to a Christian who will come and tell us stepping into the realm of that'll get you in the lake of fire. You open enough, let me tell you how I see it. You understand? And
they hit straight on point. And
absolutely. But we can get this conversation going. We see it differently. You know, I grew up in that particular type of
so beautiful.
I moved past that and I moved and I expanded onto a different level. And so with this information that I have, I take what I got and I build. And this is the purpose of having everyone here with their unique perspective. We ain't come here to agree. We came here to talk about how we see things. And that's okay to disagree. It's good.
Yeah.
But can we disagree after we hear a person out?
Like nobody,
because we've been disagreeing.
Everybody gonna agree with everything. Like
no. And we need somebody to disagree. But what I'm asking,
that's not how I rock with. But that's how we do. We alchemize shit, and then you know what? Whoever the fucking real one, whatever the fuck is gonna happen. Look, everything is gonna put on the train. Everything is gonna be loaded and be shipped out. And we're not gonna. Everything is done.
Right.
No, I agree that we are going to.
Is built. We don't have to think about that shit. We already done it.
Absolutely. And this is why I'm gonna bring it on back to the death subject, huh? Let's pull it back. Because this is what this is all about. This whole part right here where we're getting this assessment, where our hearts are being weighed. We got folks, we coming in here and we all coming from a for real and sincere place. And so now that we're coming in here and we're bringing our information, our knowledge, our wisdom to the table, we can take this, we can leave it right there, or we can take it, we can build with it, or we can keep it moving, however that goes. But bringing this back to the whole death aspect of where we're at right now, we in a time right now where this whole thing that we call ascension is really happening for many people. And we got so many folks that's out here telling folks a way to go. And where y'all were talking about how the skin is being shed, we getting out of this all or nothing thinking. That's one of the skins that's being shed. We getting out of the pontification. That's one of the skins that's being shed. That's what this whole rebirth and transformation thing is about. That's what this ascension to the next dimension is so that we can get out of the egoic mentality and start ascending to a more universal mindset. So when the brother Anthony, I'm sorry, what'd you say? Yabani Ra, my bad. That's a powerful shit right there.
Yeah, that's able and capable.
When he was dropping that about the collective consciousness, and I get you, Sister Kavina, where you coming from too, because everybody ain't on the vibe. Everybody ain't on the vibe. But on a different level, when you seeing it on a collective consciousness, they say that we're all connected. So then we can let go of all of this racial barrier where, you know, white folks and this and that.
Swag.
You know what I'm saying? Even though dude had his foot on his neck, he had a foot on George Floyd's neck.
Absolutely.
He had his foot on his neck too.
Symbology.
You know what I'm saying? And so when we start seeing the world as more being connected that way, This gives us an opportunity to ascend better, because what we end up doing is we get into this space where we disconnect. That's not my problem. That's a them problem. But at
I'm
the
gonna
end
talk.
of the day,
Can I
it
talk?
shows up for us. Please.
One thing I can say about my life, about ascension, is I see a lot of people faking the funk, or just think they're in that illusion in this physical world about ascension. Ascension happens when you're a master of none, a student of all. When you're a master of none, a student of all. So in this world, you always learning. You're here for a reason. You always here to learn. And that's hard to come by, because if you're a master, if you've been here thousands of lifetimes, right? Most of motherfuckers that's been here thousands of lifetimes, they gonna sit here and sit you and hit you with the ego. You know what I mean? They're gonna hit you with the ego. That's off top. You know what I mean? It's very few of us. It's the butterfly effect. It's very few of us that's gonna hit you with something that you ain't never seen before. And you have to pay attention to these motherfuckers. It's like the stars in the constellation. Like, this shit always moving. So that's why it's very frustrating. It's like death. It's very frustrating. If you can't muster in the energy to conquer death, what makes you think you're gonna overcome death?
Absolutely. Let's, hey, Kavina.
You know what I mean? What makes you think you're gonna overcome death?
I'm sorry. I apologize. I saw the sister's hand up, and I wanted to ask her a quick question too, because when we were talking last time, and we kind of running short for time, but you talked about purgatory. Now, when I came up in the church, I was taught that place did not exist. And so when you started talking about this whole purgatory, I wanted to hear more about it, because what I'm starting to realize is that even if a lot of those stories that we've been told when we're in our traditional religious systems, there's some correlation to it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of
There's
course.
a connection to how it's laid. So I'm really interested in hearing.
I'm very meticulous when it comes to life. And living in Florida, I'm a little spoiled. So I do have to take that humility.
How are you spoiled?
Living the fact that I get to see all seasons every time of the year, anytime I'm ready.
It's snow out there too?
And I'm from Ohio, so I go home for 6 weeks out of the year, every season.
Okay.
So I'm a little spoiled in that area, where it's like I'm from Ohio.
Yeah.
I live in Florida.
I'm from LA, so I don't know nothing about.
Oh yeah, so it's like my children haven't seen snow. But what I've learned about, speaking back to what the sister was bringing up, is that, and what you were talking about this death, every time a caterpillar grows enough to go through the metamorphosis of becoming a butterfly, it dies. Bodies liquefies. Like, I'm a caterpillar mother. I have like caterpillar trees, and I am like I'm into that energy. So it's so beautiful when we talk about death. And these are some of the things that help me really get back to the out layer of when one of my cousins, who was literally tested and found a genius in my family, he was found frozen in his car. And when we went to go lay his body down, yeah, literally. So when we went to go lay his body down,
no. Was he gang banging affiliated?
No, my cousin was a genius.
No.
Just could not actualize.
No, you have to look back. You have to look back.
No, he wasn't. No. There was other
affiliated.
No,
Nothing.
There wasn't. No, there was other copious amount of things. So in my family, just to be transparent, either you are on drugs or you sell them. So I am very meticulous about
something about that story. I don't know.
Because people have done it so I don't have to do it. So I'm very big on certain things, and I'm very copious and meticulous about talking about certain things because I just people have died literally in their 20s so I can live the life that I'm living right now, literally. And so I have to pay homage to that every day. So when I came into the caterpillar family, I actually started really like videoing my caterpillars. Like, how do you go from a caterpillar to a butterfly? What the fuck does that look like? And I'll be outside smoking, like on my, like smoking a joint. Like, what the hell are y'all? Like, I see y'all eating all these plants, but then all of a sudden, one day you go in a cocoon. What happens? And I started, I started being woken up at 444-222-111. And I would go out on my patio. I would go out and be like, and all of a sudden I'm looking at literally my caterpillars crystallizing in front of my face. Their bodies are literally liquefying to go into this chrysalis. And it was like, God, I'm like, this is birth.
Crystal City.
And for me, I had all three of my children at home and I had orgasmic births. So for me, this was like, oh my God, I'm birthing children. This is beautiful. This is everything. And 2 weeks later, they would come out and they would be butterflies. And so that became a journey. So when we talk about the death process, for me, I've seen so many of the great young ones in my family, especially men. The women in my family are very, very strong. I just had a man tell me the other day, I act like a man. And I had to tell him, you told me you love me 6 weeks ago. So if I'm a man, what the fuck does that make you? Because I come from like very strong women and our men die really young.
Oh my
God. And I'm not apologizing for that. I cannot apologize for that. My son is my firstborn son. And so when I came into this path of death, it came beknownst to me. And when and you know, my priestesses know I did not like Miss Blue when I came in. I was very masculine. I was very like, why are you asking all these questions? Da, da, da. But it was like there's a moment where she really unveiled that soft part where it happens. Throw confetti. I still have a vagina. I can still give birth. And there are more worse things happening in the world.
Let me stop you right there. Because we at the very end on this podcast segment, and we go pick this up just a little bit longer, and you're going to have to check that out on the YouTube channel. So we will catch you. All right. Back on deck. We'll let this conversation carry over just a little bit farther.
I already know, like
Tizzy.
Our ass, shit, we could sit here on this cipher for days and days.
We absolutely could. We absolutely could. But I want to make sure that everybody got an opportunity to finish their thoughts before we close that out, because this depth subject is something that we can dive deep into without a question, and we can hit it on all many angles without a doubt. But Kavina, I wanted to ask you this thing about this purgatory, this in between. What happens?
So what's happening is that we are not communicating in our families. One thing I will say, being with the Planet Remix as being one of my first priestess in that sacred space, she's taught me is that I have to bring my family along this journey, even if they are not a part of this process. I have to bring them apart, because if I pass, I was married for 8 years, and I've been happily divorced for 6. and that person is chosen not to do the end of the end of the story, and I can't stay in the space of being stuck there. So now I have to.
Have you ever been to LA?
No, you know what? I've never been on the West Coast actually, other than Arizona. I went to the Crystal Gem show. And so for me, when it comes to bringing my family along this journey with me, it's been a moment of saying, I don't expect you to accept where I am. I want to understand where you are because I have a full understanding of where I am. So I can walk into any synagogue and I'm okay. We can do it. Let's rock it out. We can do Inshallah. We can do Habakkuk. We can do Jehovah Witness. We can do, like, let's do it. Like, it's no big deal. And so for me and my family and my bloodline, I'm very rare in my family, you know, but yet it's not unfamiliar. So that's where the stirrup is. And I have to show gentleness and diplomacy. As we know, with we got to show that gentleness and diplomacy.
We know how that fucking feels.
Yeah, how we going through that, and that's where the metamorphosis comes in, where you literally die. There's a part of you where you have to say, "I can't do what I thought I was going to do because what I want to do is greater than what I thought I was going to do."
Yeah, that's how motherfuckers piggyback on your fucking moonwalk. Just like Michael Jackson did the moonwalk, and everybody in the world know how to do the moonwalk. He did that shit. He paved the way. You know what I mean?
And you know what is so beautiful when you say that, because
they stifle his image.
But you know what's so beautiful? The world had to accept he could do it. That's how he could do it.
That's
and he
what I'm
had
saying.
to accept that in his own
That's
space.
That's what's going on right now. Like, nobody can stifle my image unless I say so.
Right on.
If I have a fucking
that's the metamorphosis
in my aura,
yes, that's
blemish in my aura is gonna show, right?
That's the caterpillar going into
nowadays, because it's so much things going on right now in the quantum field that right now people could judge you off of thick and thin. Like, wait, oh, hold up, Anthony ain't doing right, but yet it can change tomorrow. It can change in 3 seconds. God damn
and it could, but it is at this point in 2022 is beyond judgment. It's a place of being, even in fear. It's a place of being. So there's been places, and I've shared this, and my priestesses can attest. There's been times we've been in sacred space, and I am in fear, literally, and they have to hold me. Each one of these women have held me up when I have been in utter fucking sheer, and that doesn't mean I'm not
vibration is that? What vibration is that?
It's a metamorphosis where you die and you don't know that you can hold it, but you
do know. That's the thing.
You know, because there's people holding you there. There's people. I would have never gotten to where I am without I would have, and they are from all. I haven't seen half of these people. Let's be clear.
And
there has been times where.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna answer the question that she originally had. Is purgatory, right?
Okay.
Yes, purgatory.
Okay. Purgatory, like you're saying, there's a lot of our families that are in this.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to concisely say what I think you're saying, which is a lot of us are the head of this snake within our family. So bringing it back to the snake. So we're the head of the snake of our family and shedding the skin for our family. There's a lot of truths within the Bible, right? It says it was kind of like conflicting things that said you're responsible for your own salvation. But at the same time, it says that if you were saved, that you would end up saving your family. So So what that all entails is that some of us are here to act as the head of the snake with family. We are literally shedding the skin for many of us, because check this out. The way the spirit gave it to me My dad is the total opposite of me. I mean, you would think like he's the most selfish, egotistical, like
Yes.
not not who you want me to be. He's the opposite. But
Yeah.
when I've gone into meditation, I don't, because I
It's a
can't talk
mirror.
physical. There's so much ego built into him.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of who he came to play for me to be where I am today.
Right.
So therefore, I understand his role within the serpent. You get what I'm saying? I know that I'm playing the head of the snake and that I have to bypass sometimes talking to him in the physical because he will never get what I'm trying to say because we're on a different spectrum, a different vibration. He's on a different realm of this time clock that I was talking about before.
Okay.
So we are pulling along our families.
Yeah.
Right? The purgatory, go back to Revelations, is said that at the end of this whole time, what did it say? It says that there was souls that were trapped underneath an altar.
And that's where I will plug in and say, because we're not sending our bodies off the way we see fit. If I don't agree with something you do, I still need to send your body off the way you see fit. Mm-hmm. So there's so many souls, like you just said, you and your father have had differences. And when your father passed, if he was, let's say, for instance, a agnostic and you buried him Christian, he will be stuck here. And that is what happened. There's a point where we have to actually acknowledge they were on a different path and respect that.
I got a question for you. What's up with Urzuli? What's up with Urzuli and what she has to do with her love and everything has to do with her evolving to the next step?
Urzuli is a virgin.
Urzuli, for me, in my experience, is connected and tied to a lot of this work that I do that's called the Pretty Priestess, right?
Oh,
because in working with Urzuli is where I started really getting into all of the glamour magic, all of the self-care, all of the self-love rituals, right? Because the word that she comes to bring is that you build that self-love within yourself, almost like the Oshun energy, right? Where you build your self-love and you build yourself up through loving yourself. And when you start treating yourself like a goddess and putting the very best on for yourself and doing your very best and giving yourself your very best offering, then you come out into the world and you shine in a different light.
Because y'all deserve it. You know Absolutely. What I mean? Women, dear mama, like Tupac say, dear mama, like, you know what I mean? A lot of people that went over people's heads, but that man took a lot of shit out of everything. Let me finish this shit.
I didn't finish what I was saying, but I was tying in what happened to us with the freeing of the souls when we were together. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Or not?
Yeah.
Not
okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's
the
reason to say that.
You got that recording, right?
I have it right here queued, bro. So, 7 months after my whole wake up thing, literally Anthony was coming almost on a daily basis to come over here, and we were like in this whole ecosphere of just spirit all the time.
That's the fucking Ed and Teddy.
Yeah. So we were gonna sit down and like start freestyling over a beat, and all of a sudden over the tablet comes this.
No, I know, but it's not one of the samples on anything. Maybe it is.
You can't really hear that shit, bro.
You can't hear it?
Nah.
No. Okay.
Oh, hell no. Man.
I'll send it to you, Shakesha, because what happens is it became like this whole release of spirits. Like when you this to you, you'll trip out. But when recently, Tupac was kind of like, not kind
That
of.
was on his birthday. I remember.
No, it was Death Day on September 13th.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I wasn't really that big.
Oh no, that was on his
back in the day.
Yeah.
And I have been really rocking with a lot of his music. Like I was more of a Biggie person. You know what I'm saying? I know that either or dichotomy, right? Whatever.
Right. But see, even B.I.G. though.
Yeah.
B.I.G. already. No.
But that whole Tupac energy has come through. That's where I wanted to ask you guys about karma, right? And how this whole process of death comes in. Okay. So I was listening to this cat. I think he was on Brother Rich. His name is Brother Youssef, right? Mm-hmm. And he was talking about karma and how that shows up where people are, they say that if we're supposed to have this loving and benevolent God, then why does he allow such atrocities to happen? Children getting raped, molested, kidnapped, killed, and they're innocent and they've done nothing. And so he started talking about how in past lives, what we don't consider is that there may have been some karmic debt.
Nah.
That needs to be cleaned up from a past life. And so we carry it over into this life. And then when tragedy and misfortune takes place, that was a part of karma, because that little girl that got killed could have been Jeffrey Dahmer in a past life.
Man,
and didn't get an opportunity to pay the karma for that.
First of all, let's look at this shit on the whole cosmic level. DNA, right? Like Yosef, I fuck with Yosef. Like that's my boy.
Oh yeah, he was new news to me, but I like him so far. Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody is evolving. Everybody's evolving to the next level, right? So now you're looking at this life right now, like who could be the one that can put the keys to the puzzle to make the puzzle stick? Who could be the keys to make the keys to put the keys to make the puzzle stick? Wherever the fuck you want to do it. You know what I mean?
But that's what we realize at this point.
This is the thing about life.
More than one key.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be
we live in a world right now. It's so fucking fast. It's so fast. It's so fluid that you can't. We live in a world of we in the Aquarian age. We in the information age right now. Like everybody needs information. Like no matter what, you got people on TikTok, on YouTube. No matter what, you're going to influence yourself on TikTok or whatever the fuck you're going to do. But at the end of the day, if you're not applying yourself to the information, what does that matter?
Right. But
same thing. That's the same thing we've been going through.
Showing up for you though, because if you're not putting the work in, and doesn't that shit show up, and ain't that karmic?
Can I explain?
Please. Yeah.
I feel like Bobby Hemming right now. Goddamn. So look, this shit it is crazy on a whole little microcosm, little mediocre synchronicities. It's all good. It's synchronicities. Like we can't get influence in our ego because we all have desires that we need to fulfill and manifest in our melanin.
Right.
And Lord knows that didn't put out more. He was John the Baptist. Like, come on, man. Like, I would never want to fucking make money off of the shit I'm doing, but goddamn, I'm here to fucking be the knight shining armor. And that man know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But yet, who knows about what Bobby Hemmett went through, right?
Right.
And that's death, right? That's death. That's entering a whole nother atmosphere that we
right. He went to a different level and everything. Right.
And he already told Panic, like, don't talk about don't even talk about what we talked about. That fucking frustrates that man to the point that I'm talking about on this live, like, he don't even want to talk about the shit that we talked about because everything is just, oh, you contradicting what you talked about, my nigga, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, everybody needs a chance to really fucking get into this shit and really compromise. That's the heart. That's the heart chakra. If you lighter than a feather, then you don't have to intellectualize whatever you going through, bro. Real shit. Because the warriors, the women is gonna speak through. Everybody needs to just genre where they need to be, and everything is gonna recognize real. Anybody recognize wrong, get the fuck out the way. You and I get ran over. Period.
This is
and that's death.
Where I was trying to go with that.
Death. I conquer death right now because you know what? I conquered death. I may not have a car right now, for one. I may not doing what you want me to do, for two. For three, I don't give a fuck. Just like a nigga spirit. I don't give a fuck. As long as I'm doing what I need to do, then I conquer death.
Right.
So let
me pose this to you though, because I'm trying to dive. So because this is helping me to understand on a greater level, right? So then I go back to the Hermetic principles, right? This right here has always been my foundation in this work that I do right now. So then when I look at what we call karma, with this law.
What is karma? What is karma?
Right, with this law of cause and effect and how that translates. So my teaching
who wrote
has
karma?
been, hold up, let me tell you, my teaching has been, and this is where my understanding is, right? That karma is subjective on many levels, right? Because like I was just talking about, like we know the guy that specialized, he killing wives and grandmothers, right? That guy, he's a bad guy. He's getting some bad karma. But me, I'm the type of person that I'm going to be whoever in the hell I got to be. And if that means old people, midgets, kids, whatever, it needs to go down. And so if you see me push an old lady,
yeah, it was justice.
That, like
it was justice.
Talking. Hold
it
up,
was
like Brother gives a really illustration. You see somebody push an old lady out of the way.
No. Well,
and they'll tell you you're bad for pushing that lady, right? You're bad for pushing that lady.
No, you know what? This is
trying to save her from being ran over by a car.
Can I speak on some Libra shit though? To balance this shit out? Like, look, we live in a world right now, like everybody wants their point across, but it's a process. Just like the spirits say, it's a process. Like death, just like you think you ready? If you were to die right now and you left your body right now, right? Would you be ready for it? Would you really be grateful for it? Be like, thank you? Half of these motherfuckers in purgatory, like, I wasn't ready for that shit, man. And that's where we at.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's saying that there is a purgatory. I mean, I think in theory, you know, this is the way that I see it. In theory, perhaps so.
Can I speak from Anthony Hardy perspective?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, whatever perspective. Because in my perspective, I went to the lowest bottom and work my way up to the top, right? So thanks to you, thanks to the priestesses out there, thanks to everybody that really rock with us.
Yeah.
Because in this world right now, if I give in to the confusion, I'll be confused just like everybody else.
Easily could be that way. But listen, I'm going to wrap this conversation up. We go pick up some more conversation for the next cipher. Let me shuffle my cards and pull a card real quick so we'll know what energy we dealing with for the next cipher. Because Spirit let me know that the collective needs to deal with this whole
It's a process. It's a process
by navigating the energy
everybody that got a problem
that
with
we
us,
deal with within everyday life.
But everybody got a problem with
The Knight
us.
of Swords energy.
Come see us
the
every
Knight
day.
of Swords energy. The Knight of Swords energy. So we looked at the Knight of Swords energy. In my opinion, how I get the Knight of Swords energy right is like the guy that you get with, and he is the guy that says all of the right shit. You know what I'm saying? And you get with him and everything, and things is going wild, and then you start realizing that he doesn't have that.
This shit. Can I say something, Shakisha?
Absolutely.
Like, look, man, like this is for the whole community. Like, real shit. Like, I've been writing a fucking journal since 2018. Mind you, I come from Compton, California. I used to have people that laugh at me like, nigga, you writing in your journal. But yeah, I have been sticking to that shit since 2018.
Yeah.
Like, I got books and I look back and I fucking cry on the shit that I wrote. So, and I'm looking back at these foul ass people that claim they this and they that, and it's not a lot of people that have support.
Absolutely.
So support my sister right here. I'm definitely gonna support her whatever way I can, and support everybody that been on this page. And you know what? We in a magical time right now because everything the spirit said, like we just sit back and watching. We sitting back and watching. We watching everything, man. We watching everything. All these motherfuckers thought they had money. They ain't never had money. They ain't never had money. No. 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 And you think I'm worried about money? You stupid motherfuckers. You think I'm worried about money? No. I'm here to do what I need to do to bring my people together. That's where my heart is. Where my heart is, my home is. Ain't nothing gonna take me from that. And y'all know that. You know that. So
absolutely. Well, listen, we wrapping it up. We gonna talk about that Knight of Swords energy, because this is going to be an opportunity for us again to expand as we navigate the energy in this process we call ascension.
You want me to put
Let's do that shit, y'all.
Those cards for you?
I want to give a special thanks to the ancestors, the spirit guides, the archangels, the Loas, Papa Legba. Thanks, Pops, for looking out. And we appreciate it. I am calling it today. Thank everybody for showing up. I appreciate and love each and every last one of you for supporting me in this cipher thing that we're putting together. But I'm here to tell you that this is definitely divinely ordered. Spirit gave these orders to get out here and get these conversations going, because we the people out here in these streets that's meditating. We the people out here in these streets that's doing the work. We studying, we getting all of that information in. We checking the stars. We see the numerology in that shit. We see through the news. Our third eye is open. And so when we get these conversations on the table, family, and we start picking this shit apart from everybody's perspective, not just one perspective. It ain't groupthink. We ain't in Sunday school and church. But when we all get together and start bringing this knowledge to the table, we start expanding and ascending in ways like nobody's fucking business, y'all. no doubt about it. So I want to call this meeting, y'all. Peace and light, peace and love to everybody. I promise you, we go figure this shit out so that we can make sure that everybody got their time. Because Dante, that's a master sitting there who sat quietly in the background. I can't wait to hear what this brother got to bring to the table the next time we come around. So we look forward to seeing everybody. And Brother Anthony, you got to be one of the quickest minds that I done came past in a little bit. So you know what I'm saying? We go keep it gangster. Divine Priestess in the house. I love you so much, sis. Thank you so much. She brings that fire, and I'm gonna tell you something. Don't too much get past her. So she might sit back and be quiet for a minute, but I'm here to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to tell you. You know what I'm saying? She got some fire for that. But we definitely, it's going down, y'all. It's going down. We got some real gangsters in these streets, and that's no question about it. And I love you guys, and I'll see you all next week, or maybe the week after, or whenever. But peace and light, and peace and love.
Peace and light, peace and love, y'all.
Right.